A 35-year-old woman is behind bars after stabbing a 17-year-old boy. At around midday on Tuesday the 7th of November, authorities received a call about a stabbing that occurred at a residence in the 200 block of Clay Street in Clarksburg, West Virginia. Officers learned that the victim left the scene and was now at a Hardee's fast food store about half a mile away. Officers located the victim, who had a stab wound to his upper right shoulder. The teen told officers that Amber Leanne Zinasek stabbed him from behind with a large knife after he turned around to walk away. The victim was taken to a local hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. During the investigation, authorities obtained surveillance footage of the attack and issued a warrant for Amber's arrest. On Monday the 13th of November, Amber was taken into custody. While questioned, Amber said she was defending her family at her own home. The relationship between the victim and the suspect is unclear. Amber is charged with malicious assault and is held at the North Central Regional Jail on a $20,000 bond. If convicted, Amber faces between 2 to 10 years in prison. The investigation into the matter continues. 41-year-old Anthony Wessel is behind bars for killing his 37-year-old wife Anna Wessel. At just before 1 p.m. on Monday the 13th of November, Anthony walked into the Oregon City Police Department and admitted to fatally shooting his wife inside their home at 13417 Squire Drive in Oregon City, Oregon. He described the gun he used in the attack and the location within the house where it occurred. Officers responded to the residence and found Anna deceased inside with 2 gunshot wounds to the head. The couple had been married for 18 years. There was no one else inside the home at the time of the shooting. The couple's 4 children aged between 10 to 16 years old have been placed into the custody of their aunt and uncle. Anthony's been charged with second-degree murder and unlawful use of a weapon. He remains held at the Clackamas County Jail without bond. The motive of the attack is unclear, as the investigation into the matter continues. 2 women are behind bars after a 4-year-old suffered second and third-degree burns over most of her body. At around midday on the 9th of October, authorities responded to a home at 205 Oak Hill Avenue in Seekonk, Massachusetts on report of a 4-year-old girl with significant burns over large portions of her body. When first responders arrived, they found a girl in a critical condition and transported to Hasbro Children's Hospital in Providence. Her body was in shock due to burns she suffered, and her organs were not functioning properly, which put her at risk of cardiac arrest. The child has since been stabilized but remains hospitalized more than a month after the incident occurred. 44-year-old Francesca Jerome told police that she was watching her 4-year-old niece on the 8th of October when the girl fell into a fire pit. She told investigators that the girl wasn't in there for very long and that she didn't see any injuries on the child's body. 38-year-old Ghislaine Jerome came home a few hours later and saw blisters all over her daughter's body. The aunt, who has a background in healthcare, assured the mother that the girl was not in any pain. By the following morning, the mother said that the child's skin was falling off, but the aunt insisted that the child was fine. Francesca then gave the child Pedialyte, an electrolyte solution which she threw up. It wasn't until 17 hours after the child was burnt that they called 911. While the girl was being treated at the hospital, she reportedly told a Department of Children and Families worker that Francesca poured boiling water on her. The 4-year-old has undergone several skin grafts and other surgeries. On the night of the 11th of November, Francesca and Ghislaine were arrested. Francesca was charged with mayhem, reckless endangerment of a child, permitting substantial injury to a child, and assault and battery on a child with substantial injury. She's held at the Bristol County Jail without bail. Ghislaine was charged with reckless endangerment of a child and permitting substantial injury to a child. Her bond's been set at $25,000. 37-year-old Shamika Mitchell is behind bars after abandoning her toddler son at a beach in the middle of the night. At midnight on Wednesday the 8th of November, Daytona Beach police responded to the parking lot of St. Demetrius Greek Orthodox Church at 129 North Halifax Avenue in Daytona Beach, Florida after Shamika's older son, who's a teenager, fought with her after she returned from the beach without a 1-year-old son. Police determined that church security allowed Shamika, who was from Detroit, Michigan, to stay in the parking lot because she was looking for a safe place for her and her 4 children to sleep while vacationing in Florida. Police noted that the security employee saw Shamika leave the car with a toddler in her arms, and when Shamika returned without the child, the older sibling questioned her. Shamika said she met the toddler's father at a nearby 7-Eleven and left the child with him. The teen knew this wasn't true because the child's father was in Detroit. Police said that the teen began searching for his little brother and calling out his name. After he was unable to find him, he then asked church's security to call 911. While police spoke with the mother, the teen became upset that she abandoned the child. He was arrested after he hit two officers who tried to stop him from lunging at his mother. It's unclear if he's being charged. When police questioned Shamika, she stuck to a story that she left the child with her father, and when asked for proof, she provided the father's telephone number. Police called the father and learnt that he was in Detroit, and authorities launched an immediate search for the 1-year-old boy. Shortly thereafter, police were called to the beach at Main Street and Ocean Avenue, where passers-by reported finding a child. The child was identified as Shamika's missing son. A woman said she was walking when she noticed something in the sand and initially thought it was an animal. As she got closer, she saw it was a child. The woman said the child was on his hands and knees near the water and the waves washed over him, completely submerging him at times. Bystanders got the child out of the water and called 911. Volusia County Sheriff's deputies patrolling the beach responded to the child's location. Once there, they found bystanders had taken off the toddler's soaked diaper and were trying to warm him up. The temperature that night was 57 degrees Fahrenheit, or roughly 14 degrees Celsius. A deputy put the shivering child in a patrol car and turned on the heater to continue warming the baby up. The child's skin was cold to touch. He was unresponsive and had an elevated pulse and shallow breathing. The deputy continued to help the toddler, who started moving his legs once he warmed up, and he was placed into the care of paramedics. Daytona Beach police said they reviewed surveillance video footage that captured Shamika's movements. Video recording shows Shamika walking on the boardwalk with the child in her arms at 11:57 p.m. on the 7th of November. She's seen walking down the beach access staircase with the baby. At 12:02 a.m. on the 8th of November, Shamika is seen coming up the beach access staircase without the child. Then at 12:45 a.m., a sheriff's deputy was notified by dispatchers that a child had been found on the beach at Main Street and Ocean Avenue. The Department of Children and Families took custody of the children as officials awaited the arrival of their grandparents traveling from Michigan. Shamika was initially arrested on the 8th of November and charged with unlawful desertion of a child. A judge released her on her own recognizance after she spent a day in the Volusia County Jail. Following further investigation, Shamika was rearrested on the 10th of November on the charge of aggravated child abuse. She's held at the Volusia County Jail on a $50,000 bond. The investigation into the matter continues.